Hello and welcome back to the SOS show live with the Mary Evans. SOS stands for Share Our Stories. It also stands for Help. Help. I'm your host with a strong belief that there's power in sharing stories. We are committed to bringing you content that would inspire you to live your best life spiritually, mentally, and financially, which leads to leaving a legacy and building generational wealth. We have a hot topic today. We're going to be interviewing a very amazing young man right after this commercial. Hello, we're dropping hot topics today with Mr. Jewell Jones. Welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful, and you?
I'm fantastic. Happy to be here.
Well, you are some. Yes, we gave you a standing ovation. I want to say that I have been following you. I've heard so much about you. We are the downtown Pontiac. It's so many things I could say about you, but I'm going to grab a few. I hear you are a lifelong resident of Inkster, Michigan. You made history. I'm going to say that again, made history as one of the youngest, one of the youngest to sit on the City Council of Inkster, Michigan. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to see that. Do you understand what you're really doing? Because sometimes we do things and we don't even realize how you inspire, how people look. Like I say, I knew you before you even knew me, and you inspire all over. And I just want you to know that because when we working out our passion, we never think about that because we're doing what we love to do. You are one amazing young man, okay? And salute to your mother, father, whoever brought you in this world.
Appreciate you, Queen. My mom actually from Pontiac, so I got some roots out there too.
You're from Pontiac.
Yeah. Over there on Fairmont, like Fairmont and Baldwin.
Oh, you definitely have roots in the we're downtown Pontiac, your emerging space. So I just wanted to say thank you. Before the pandemic, we had live shows downtown Pontiac sell out. I mean, we had shows, 150, 200 sold tickets. So the pandemic shut us down. I'm just so excited to have you here because we're learning this virtual thing right now. So it's very important to have people like yourself that we can interview because we all about inspiring and motivating. Like that's my passion. How can we uplift everyone, but in particular the Black community? I'm all about Black economics, Black love, Black peace, Black everything. That's what I'm about. So let's get right into the show talking about you. I would like to know, now we know you're the youngest, you broke records, but what, have you always been interested in politics? How young were you tell us about yourself.
Well, I wouldn't say I've always been interested in politics. I always wanted to be a spy when I was younger. And so, I wanted to be like the Black James Bond doing the Mission Impossible things. But, my parents always had me involved in the community, had me involved in the church. And so it was only natural for me to serve. And I think as I continue to get older and I continue to network more and do more things, I just was exposed more to opportunities on the political and the government side. It just happened that a seat opened up on City Council back in 2015 after I got back from Congressional Black Caucus Conference, a conference that takes place in DC every fall with like Black and brown people from all over the world. I was there, and the energy that I got from the young people that were there talking about the great things they were doing back home. When I got back home and that seat was open and people were like, hey, you should run for office. I was 19, I was ready to go. And it just kind of happened. I got out of nowhere. And so it was not always a dream of mine, but because of my parents and the village that raised me, it was always natural for me just to want to give back, to want to serve. So,
I see. And that was 2017, if I'm correct, where you served. That's when you start serving your first role. You going up for re-election, right?
So, 2015, I was on City Council. January 1st, 2017 is when I first started. That was my first day in the Michigan legislature.
Amazing.
Look at that. It is. Back in the day.
Who's that handsome young man right there?
Back in the day, I had a 10. I'm knocking them doors.
You had a 10. I love that picture though. It's so organic. I love that picture. And I did find a picture of you because we love Brenda Carter, Representative Brenda
Oh
Carter
yeah.
and Pontiac. We love her. Salute. She is amazing as well, bring a lot to the
Yeah.
city. She loves our community and she always is doing things. So tell us your relationship with Miss Brenda Carter.
Brenda's like, that's big sis right there. You know, of course I was in one term in already, but when she came, I mean, we meshed together super well. I mean, we share a lot of the same spiritual views. She's very involved. Her husband's very involved. She's from Pontiac, and that's my old stomping grounds.
Yes.
You know, she's been all over doing a lot of different travel, and she's always been committed to our people. And I think, I mean, as soon as we met each other, we was ready to, you know, same way you talk about Black love and Black power and Black economics, we were having the same conversations. And so, I mean, that's my girl right there. That's my girl.
So we always have the topics here when we are planning on the show. We always sit around a table and say, what can we bring? We always trying to brainstorm, and particularly to reach our younger. You know, the young just like don't get it. Not all of them. When I'm
Right.
talking, I don't mean all because they'll get offended. But a lot of them that I talk to, they just don't understand the importance of voting. They don't think they really have gave up hope. Like, what has voting ever did for us? Why should we care now? It don't matter who's in office. Nothing is about us. I would like to hear your thoughts on that. And if anybody is out there listening, what could you tell them to encourage them to vote and their vote matters?
Well, you know what I would definitely say is that, of course, we all heard that conversation, and many of us has felt that way before. But what I tell people all the time is that, cool, you know, your vote may not count just essentially that particular one vote. But when you look at things on the grand scheme of things, and you look at this overarching plan, and you talk about how communities vote and how groups of people vote, you know, quite specifically, talk about really changing dynamics of elections and changing dynamics of the people that serve you and being able to hold people accountable afterwards, because now you're participating in the process that evidently is going to be around you regardless if you participate or not. And so it just makes sense for us to go ahead and get involved and engage in some form or fashion. Now, I do think as I continue to get a little older now, I realize that, you know, we all come into our consciousness at our own time.
Yes.
So a lot of times, you know, I don't like to force if people just are, they definitely don't want to vote, they don't want to be involved. That's just going to be something that we're going to have to deal with. But I think the key that I don't really run into that a lot anymore is that we just meet people where they're at. It's about relationship building. And so before we even talking about voting and who we need to vote for, you know, I'm trying to see what's going on the block. You know, is the garbage getting picked up? You know, is somebody incarcerated? They need a little bit of help. You know, is right now with the pandemic going on, is unemployment good? You know, are your children, are they okay in school where they're at? Are they learning something? You know, we're trying to figure out what are these day-to-day issues that are going on with people. Now, after you cultivate that relationship initially, now it's easy for us to say, okay, now we see these problems are going on. These are the people that support you. They're running for office. This is the millage that's going to be on the ballot. This is the proposal that's going to be on the ballot. This is what we need you to do. And so it becomes an exchange. And I think that's really how we get people to do it at the end of the day, especially young people.
You're absolutely right. You know, I think our vote must be earned. When we say those words in particular, have you had a chance to look at any of the clips? They are hitting Ice Cube up in positive and negative ways. And my take from it is he's basically saying that we should be asking for something for our vote. But I think so many people forget that we're not just voting for the president. There's so many other things that we're voting on. Have you seen those clips regarding Ice Cube? And if so, what is your opinion?
Yeah, so I've definitely seen some of the clips. I've heard what people have been saying. I think at the end of the day, we need to support our own. And so, regardless of what people had similar conversation when they talked about Steve Harvey some while ago, or even Kanye West. I think, of course, people do different things for particular reasons. Now, all the time, we don't know why they're doing it or what the end goal is going to be. But as a people, we need to learn how to come together a little bit more. So, of course, when I hear people out here talking about an individual, and I think about Friday, next Friday, Friday after next, all these different movies that we've all grown up on, we've all watched. We've all seen them. I think about West Coast Connection, all these different groups. We've been inspired by these individuals for a long time. So why are we so quick to throw them out for doing something
Yes.
that really is going to be, ultimately is going to be a benefit for us. We just have to see how the process goes through sometimes. And so while I've seen, I haven't really entertained much of the conversation. I haven't entertained much of the gossip because I think that, quite frankly, that's my brother. Whatever he's intending on doing, I'm hoping that it works out in a way that's going to be beneficial for us. I've never seen anything that Cube's done that's been counterproductive towards the Black community. I've seen the Black community even throw him out. I've seen other communities try to attack him years ago. And he's done his best to really galvanize our people. And so, I'm with him 100%. I'm with the rest of our brothers and sisters 100%. And that's where I stand at on.
I like that. I totally agree with you. What would you say was your greatest accomplishment in the years that you have served? I know you have did so many things, but it has to be something that just hold dear to your heart that you just super excited that you accomplished.
The biggest accomplishment, I think, putting my work aside, is really just inspiring the youth. We broke some crazy records, and I know you asked earlier, do I even understand what it is? Not really. I feel like this is just something. When you talk about Black excellence, I feel like this is just something we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be working for our people, working for our community. But a lot of times I'm reminded when I go and visit young people, I go and visit, some of our seasoned citizens, and they tell me about the impact of the influence that just us winning an election does for them. And I think that's probably some of my most my happier moments, because now I'm seeing like, man, like my neighbor really got a lot of love for me. My family really appreciate this, and the biggest success I think from that is because when I was coming up, the slogan was "It takes a village to raise a child," and so I've done none of this by myself. This has been a team effort, and we've done some real things. We brought about some real change, and I think just inspiring lives on the most basic level, being able to tell somebody else that, hey, I did this. And you can do it too. And you can do far greater things now. I think that's probably been the biggest thing for me.
It's so true. And when we talk about Black excellence and leaving a legacy, building generational wealth, if anybody talk about me, they'd be like, did she talk to you about saving money, building? One of the things that I'm really flipping into is the commercial buy-in. I so love when I hear people say, power in the Black agenda, grow Black businesses, buying the block. I work with a guy that I've had several meetings with, a Kindle. You might know a Kindle. Yeah, well, looking at some property in Inkster, I'm very interested in wherever I can go to make that happen. So you will hear more from me, definitely. Kindle always calling me, telling me, Mir, you have to come up here and look. I think you guys did something new with the library up there not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, we just had an updated improvements to our library. Actually moved the location. They had an opening, actually, I believe earlier this year. It was late last year. They're slowly getting back into doing some more programming. Of course, the world fell apart, so it's been challenging, but it looks really nice. It looks really nice.
It's on the rise. You guys are you guys maybe thinking about trying to do a grocery store as well at Inkster? Trying to get some love.
Right. So I've heard about the grocery stores coming together. It's a lot of plans and a lot of development that is in its infant stages, and so we're just waiting to see exactly how to really let these things manifest out here. It's incubators going on, it's grocery stores, it's all kind of stuff. So we just got to make sure we follow through and get everyone through the process the right way. That's it.
You guys are moving right along. As we talked about politics, we have been sending prayer to the governor. You heard about that. I mean, that's a beautiful picture.
Thank you.
I love that picture. We just want to send prayer to her because, a couple of weeks ago it was so crazy. I'm sure you saw those headlines.
Right. Yeah, that was very interesting. And I was actually confused. I know that they actually stopped the folks because they said the gentlemen were getting ready to spend quite a lot of money on something. So these domestic terrorists were getting ready to fund some things, but I figured that we should have just, if we were already, performing surveillance on them, we should have just kept it going and figured out the whole plan and connected all the dots, so we don't have to worry about this issue again. But Definitely appreciate y'all sitting out prayers for the governor. She's got a heavy load on her hands and a lot of people challenging her. Um, I'm right there with her. Brenda's right there with her. A lot of people are, and we continue to support her because I believe she's doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely. She did 2 events down here in my space, downtown Pontiac. So I've had the opportunity. And, she has roots in Pontiac as well. Her grandmother was born, and she was raised with them. She said used to come visit. I think one of the schools was named after here in Pontiac after her grandfather. So she loves and give a lot of love. And I've definitely been praying for it because that's crazy. So if you had someone listening today, they never heard anything about you, tell us why, just in your opinion, why should we want to reelect you?
Well, I would just say, I am a product of the community through and through. I'm a culmination of everything and everybody I've ever experienced. And as a young man right now, I'm fully committed to the uplift of all people, primarily Black people. And so, at the end of the day, I believe that, is in genuine community, there are no sides. And so, of course, I work with everybody, try to do my best to service everyone. But especially those who need the most help, I'm right there with you. And so it's not a whole lot that I personally would say. Like I don't even like campaigning no more. But it's kind of like a 24/7 thing because my biggest thing is relationships. And so if anybody needs to know anything about me, it's just that I got your back. I'm gonna be right there with you. If you need something taken care of, you got a soldier, and me. And I don't just like fighting. I like winning. So
I love it. Now, I love it.
I love the class.
You know what we so used to the, when I say the live interviews, I say we have to bring some humor in it as
Right.
well as educate. You need a mixture of it all. We are dealing with so much, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really enjoying this. So being so young, and I'm sure it's a lot of responsibilities for you. How do you balance life? Or have you always been one that really never hung out a lot, or you don't see that some people would say he's so young, and when you're in politics, you don't have a time to enjoy life. I know it's the pandemic we're not enjoying, but would you ever look back and say, you know what, I miss XYZ, or do you say you got it handled pretty well?
I would say we got to handle pretty well. I mean, I do everything still. I believe if I want to be a representative for people, whatever people are doing, I need to be doing not everything, but to a degree, what people are doing. I don't feel like it's anything that I need to do to dim my light or to minimize my experience of life. And so I would say that I haven't missed out on much. I've traveled, I've hung out, I've made mistakes, I've had a lot of successes. I've lived a very fruitful life up until now. I'm going to continue to do that. So I have no regrets, and I don't know if I have everything. I don't know if I've found a balance. I think that life is very chaotic, and I've found peace in the chaos. But I'm enjoying life right now.
I see you not missing no breakfast. I should have grabbed that picture off Facebook. I say he eating.
Oh yeah. Cooking a lot more now.
Right. Like you say, we love everybody. You're not reaching into anyone in particular, but our love for our people. Now we have to say this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to hear from you. We talk a lot about all the issues we have in the Black community, and one of the biggest things that you always hear is that we never unite and come together, support each other, business wise, or whatever we're trying to do, unless it's something negative. Right. In your opinion, what is the best thing? If you were to put one thing out there, what would that be that you think we can do to be better with each other? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think first and foremost, what I've been telling people on these tours I've been going on this year is just meet your neighbors. And I think of course for some of our more seasoned citizens, I even hanging out with my grandma, she can tell me about everybody on the block, their jobs, what they do, how long they've been there. But I think a lot of times, you have new people moving in. You got a lot of renters in our neighborhoods. Yes. You just don't know each other. We might say hello every now and again. We catch somebody outside, but for the most part, we have no idea who who we're living next to, who's across the street. And so before we come together and start working on things and figuring out how to change the world, let's go ahead and meet each other. Go next door, say hello. You can go and do the classic, ask them for sugar, whatever you think you need to do. Just do something, and or host the event. Do something to really take that extra step to know the kind of people that you're living with. And I believe once we get on that level, we all become ambassadors for our community. And so when something happens, I liken it back to the civil rights era. Before phones and social media and technology was so major, this word of mouth movement, went from all the way up north to all the way down south, from the east to the west to different countries outside the United States, simply because people were talking to each other, and we need to get back to that.
You made me smile because those were the best days in our life. Like literally, we borrowed everything. We knew everybody when they went to work, came home.
Right.
The neighbors, we used to holler out the window, "You have any sugar?" Try to make some Kool-Aid. I have some peanut butter, but don't have no jelly.
Right.
Those was the good old times. Everybody knew everybody. And now you're right. People are living in neighborhoods, pulling in a driveway, and they don't even know who live 2 houses down. They don't speak to each other. So I like that. We have to bring the community back together, and strong communities, that's what it's about. It's so important. I think people underestimate how important it is to have families and strong communities, seeing mothers and fathers raise the children. We need that. Oh my God, I miss that so much. Yeah, that is true. And speaking to our elders, they know so much, and they can give us so much knowledge. The stories that they have is just amazing. Mm-hmm. So anyone out there listening, you still have your grandparents and your aunts and uncles. Before my grandmother died, I used to love just to sit and listen to all the stories that she brought. Before we wrap this up, one of my things I always talk about on shows is Black Wall Street. What amazing. I believe that it's something that we could do again. And I want to hear your opinion on Black Wall Street.
Well, I definitely agree. It's even, I'm a part of different organizations I know you shared some images from our Black Party. That's more of a political organization, but I think I'm a part of many organizations committed to political, economic, social, spiritual, and educational uplift to the Black community. It's even a group called Our Own Wall Street in Detroit. That my former chief
What is it called?
It's called Our Own Wall Street. Shanita Gary, she actually is the founder, I would say, of that, and chairwoman. My former chief of staff is her nephew, and so this is how I met her a long time ago. She was doing some work with Pretty Brown Girls, this organization for young ladies, and she started this group, and it really just seeks to provide a networking opportunity for people that are in the business community. It's not specifically for Black people, but the intent is to spur Black business and Black wealth in urban environments. And so I think I'm fully committed to that. I'm working on that back in Inkster right now, trying to figure out, of course, there hasn't been much strategic planning over the years in terms of how we're going to develop our community. And so now working with the mayor and the city council people, other leaders of the community, trying to figure out how do we really take a break right now, figure out what do we do with the property we have, how do we redevelop this or rebrand ourselves to this different Black Wall Street. I think, Black Wall Street, of course, was a major view or a major point on the map where people knew, like, here, Tulsa is a spot to go. But I mean, we have Ottawa in Michigan. We have in Inkster, even back in the day, was Henry Ford. The white workers in the plants didn't want Black families living next door to them in Dearborn Heights, and so they created Inkster specifically for Black people. And back then, when you had all these people making good money, they were business owners. We had markets, we had the stores, we had the auto places, we had everything. And so I don't think it's difficult to get back to that, but we have to at least be on the same page, and that means we have to unite. That doesn't always mean we have to agree. And so we just have to figure out how do we get on the same page and how do we actually be committed towards that mission. So I'm with
it. Yes. So I just want to say thank you. I love the interview. We try to keep it 30 minutes or less so everyone will listen to the whole interview. They say our attention span. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ms. Donna Jean. So mental health in the Black community. And I was so excited to see that picture because I'm an ambassador. And I was just out there last week. Like, I love to go out there, get in that water.
Yeah.
Black mental health matters. Just want to touch bases and for you to just tell us how you feel about Black mental health and how important it is, because you do inspire so many. Just want them to hear from you how important it is to seek mental health when you need it. Seek help when you need it.
Definitely. I think my early years, I was kind of turned off towards the entire conversation because, I had just personally been through like so many different things, from like going through so many funerals and seeing so much happening, all kind of stuff, that I became like desensitized to things in life. But of course, as you get older too, you have to begin to have different conversations with people. You take on different responsibilities and different roles. And so even especially now as a representative, realizing, instead of just my family or my friends, I have constituents, I have colleagues that I have to work with. People go through so many different things, and it's not always about coping with it, and so people can cope with stuff their entire lives. But when we're talking about really healing someone, and really, removing a problem that will keep you really bogged down for your entire life, it's so critical to take care of the mental health. And that can be anything. It could be any kind of therapy, anything that you believe is a way to handle it. I think is important. And I think Inception is a beautiful spot for me. I don't necessarily have. I would say I don't have a lot of. I don't allow myself to get stressed out too much, because I already know what comes with stress. But it's definitely a place where I can go, and it's a peaceful experience. You walk in, it's clean, it's quiet. You can relax. The flow therapy I've done before, is the environment is just so serene, where you just in a happy place. And I believe that as Black people, we've been doing so much, and we've been going through so much for so years. We need to figure out, how do we get to a happy place? Because I believe when we're happy, we're productive, and we're actually extremely and effective functional members of society. And that's why I really hope to see all our brothers and sisters at, because we are who the world needs. We built this place. You feel me? By the grace of God. So I would love to see all my brothers and sisters get whatever services, whatever help they need, to make sure that they are well on their way towards, investing back in our community.
Like you said, whatever that is, mental health is so important. And yes, I definitely have to say exception and Farmington. When you say, when you walk into that place, you walk into a place where you feel peace.
Right.
Soon as you walk in the doors, it's just a peaceful energy, spirit that's in that place. And it works. Definitely. It works. And when we talk about all the things that the Black community has been through, on top of all of the police killing, of COVID, all of the things that we go through, we just have to find that place of peace. Right. And I definitely agree with you. I would like for you to say anything that you would like to tell the audience that's listening today before we leave the show. What do you have to say to them, Mr. Jones?
Well, we know, of course, the election is on the way. We're on the cusp of the election right now, and it's going to be one of the most important ones in our life. Definitely, probably the most important election that is. I've been alive for 25 years now, so it's definitely the most important one for me. And we all know there's going to be one or two people getting in office on November 3rd. And I believe that we also know that one person is better than the other one. And it's not just about the presidency, but about the entire ticket. It's about the people that they're going to appoint. And so just make sure that we are, if you get the chance to vote early, please do so. Even if you're not registered, we have same-day registration here in the state now. And so just make sure we're doing everything we need to be doing as individuals to really contribute towards the success of our communities. What I would say, besides that, if anyone ever needs anything that I can help out with, that my team can help out with, that Miss Mary Evans can help out with, because I got her contact information now. Y'all just let me know, and we be there for you.
We there for sure. And if anything that we can do for you as well, we so humble for you to be here today. And it's so important for our young people to see young men in office. and we need more of that. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and share the show. See you again on Hot Topic Tuesday. Have a great evening. Peace and love. All right. Anna, was it? We done. It was pretty. Take that off. I don't know what she doing. How did you like